it's about the gold standard application in agriculture. Gold standard is a new carbon offset project certification. Let's start with a brief introduction of this presentation. In the world facing pressing challenges such as the climate change, poverty, and food security, it has become increasingly crucial to align our efforts with a framework that not only guides us towards sustainability, but also ensures that our actions have meaningful impact. Today, we gather here to explore the insertions of two critical realms that are gold standards for the global goals and its application in agriculture. As we know, agriculture lies at the heart of our global food system and rural economies. It sustains billions of livelihoods, nourishes the world's population, and plays a substantial role in shaping our environment. At the same time, it faces the dual challenge of meeting the rising demand for food while mitigating its environmental footprint. It is against this backdrop that the global gold standard for the global goals emerged as a beacon of hope, offering a rigorous framework that connects sustainable development with agriculture in a profound way. So, for this presentation, following this, I will start with present you what is really the gold standard for the global goal. I will give you some definitions and requirements needed for the standard. And in the two other parts, we will see different applications of gold standard in agriculture and its impact in agriculture. Just a reminder, let me show you what is really carbon offsetting project. How carbon offsetting works. Carbon offsetting allows you to balance out your climate impact and compensate for the emissions you produce by reducing carbon dioxide as well. So, to start, there is, for example, a company in the European Union who wants to offset the carbon emissions. For example, different projects related to air travel, logging, transportation, dining, and other cheap activities. And this company then will purchase carbon offsets from sustainable travel international equivalent to amount of carbon dioxide it produced. And then from that, we will contribute different funds for the certificate project that conserve and restore forests, generate clean and renewable energy, or increase energy efficiency. And so, this project will reduce their carbon emissions. And to ensure that these carbon emissions are sure from them, that's why they choose to certify the project under different carbon offsetting project. And in that case, we can say gold standard. So what are the different standards for global, for carbon offset standards? The standard is used to certify emission reductions, and therefore carbon credits determines the market in which these reductions are monetized. And all these standards are seeking to guarantee 5 qualities. First, additionality. then the verification of the emissions reduction according to specifications shown beforehand, the permanence of the emission reductions, the offset termable, for example, ensuring that the credits can only be issued once the emissions have actually been reduced, and the transparency. We can have a different standard, a verified carbon standard, called standard climate action reserve. In this presentation, we will show especially the gold standard. So, what is the gold standard? It is a standard that sets the requirements to design projects for maximum positive impact in climate and development, and to measure and report outcomes in the most credible and efficient way. We can see different details of the gold standard in his website here. And the gold standard for the global goals customize safeguard requirements and methodologies to measure and verify impact on a wide range of activities, from climate protection projects seeking to issue carbon credits to corporate supply chain interventions to national or subnational programs looking for the most claim for their impact reporting. And therefore, the gold standards refers to certification system related to sustainability and development and environmental goals, particularly the United Nations Development Goals, SDG, that we can see in this picture. For example, for one, no poverty, zero hunger, and all these sustainable development goals. There are 17 global goals adopted by the United Nations, and also various social, economic, and environmental challenges facing the world. And then the gold standard of the global goals is a certification standard and framework that ensure that project and initiative designs to address this SDG meet high quality environmental and social criteria. And we can let me note you that there will be a certification body that will make different audits to the company that want to be certified. And the main goals and the objectives of the gold standard include environmental integrity, social benefits, sustainable development, transparency, and accountability. And so the main requirements stated in the gold standard were objectives in 3 main principles. First, contribution to climate security and sustainable development. Then, the operator should define baseline and the project scenarios. And in the third part, contribution to climate security and sustainable development. In this context, all projects shall demonstrate a clear, direct contribution to sustainable development, defined as making demonstrable positive impact on at least 3 sustainable development goals, and one of them should be the 30.
It looks like we have.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We had lost you temporarily. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay, so by certifying the project and initiatives under the gold standard for the global goals, organizations and the investors can demonstrate their commitment to sustainable development and contribute to achieving the SDGs in a credible and measurable way. And the gold standard is the most rigorous climate standard recognized by many organizations, including the WWF and the David Suzuki Foundation. Let's now see different applications of the gold standard in agriculture. In fact, the gold standard can be applied in agriculture to promote sustainable and responsible farming practices that align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And here are some ways in which this standard can be applied. First, we can see a climate smart agriculture. In fact, agriculture is closely tied to climate change, profile, a contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, and as a sector vulnerable to its effect. Projects in the agriculture can seek a gold standard certification by implementing climate-smart farming practices that reduce emissions, enhance carbon sequestration, and build resilience to climate change. For example, reforestation or afforestation projects on agricultural land can help sequester carbon. Sequester carbon means that the carbon for each year will be quantified and then offsetting. Another application is the gold standard help to reduce carbon emissions. Projects can focus on reducing emissions associated with agriculture, such as methane emissions from livestock or nitrous oxide emissions from fertilizer use. Sustainable farming practices like improved manure management or precision agriculture techniques can be certified under the gold standard. You can see that the methane is the most emissions issued from livestock farming, and so the gold standard will help to reduce these emissions. Gold standard helps also for rural development. In fact, the gold standard can be applied to projects that aim to improve the livelihoods of rural communities dependent on agriculture. Different countries, especially in Africa, can apply for the gold standard. And initiatives that enhance access to education, healthcare, clean water, and economic opportunities in rural areas can contribute to SDGs related to poverty reduction, hunger eradication, and food health and well-being. Another application is sustainable land use. Projects can promote sustainable land management and land use practices in agriculture. This may include efforts to prevent deforestation, restore degraded lands, and promote sustainable land tenure systems. Another one is water and soil conservation. Initiatives that focus on water and soil conservation in agriculture, such as sustainable irrigation practices, erosion control, and the promotion of organic farming, can seek gold standard certification. These practices can contribute to SDG related to clean water and responsible land use. Another one application is biodiversity conservation. projects that aim to conserve biodiversity in agricultural landscapes can also be certified under the gold standard. Such initiatives may include the protection of natural habitats like the park within agricultural areas, or the adoption of agroecological practices that support biodiversity. And the last one application in agriculture is fair trade and social equity. In fact, a gold standard can ensure fair wages and working conditions for agricultural laborers is another aspect of sustainability in agriculture. Projects that promote fair trade and social equity within the agricultural supply chain can align with SDGs related to decent work and economic growth, as well as reduced inequalities. That's all about my presentation. That to summarize, there are different applications of gold standard in agriculture, and the main objectives of a gold standard is to ensure that the project have different SDG goals. And that's all about my presentation. If you have any questions, I stay available to answer you, or comments if needed, I can answer you.